Welcome back to the podcast. It's good to see you. Well, it's good to hear you because I haven't. It's good for you to hear me. Let's go with that. It's great for you to hear me because you can't see me and I can't see you, but we know that we both exist. So this is like a long distance relationship where like neither one of us has like Skype, which no longer exists, by the way. Microsoft got rid of Skype. We don't have Skype or FaceTime or any of that stuff. But Microsoft got rid of Skype, okay? Just so everyone's aware. The other day, there was an article that came out, I think earlier this week, maybe even the week before. It was recent, definitely in March, where Microsoft basically said they're getting rid of Skype. So there's that. This lettuce will taste so much better with like dressing, but I don't have any dressing, like some Thousand Island dressing. But I don't have any dressing. Okay, so I'm eating it with like just like regular lettuce. I just made like lettuce tacos not too long ago. In case you're wondering why I'm eating lettuce, I made lettuce tacos, and I've been eating a lot more meat, which has been good for me. Except like when you consider the fact that I'm eating more meat and I'm like working out, doing push-ups and sit-ups and all that good stuff, I've been a lot more horny. Oh, anyway, so besides that, I decided to make tacos because I have to cut weight for my physical exam. Not my physical, not like it's not a medical exam. Like if you work in law enforcement, you have to take a physical exam where you have to like run like a mile and do a bunch of push-ups. So that's all I guess. Basically, you have to be prepared and physically fit. So like you have to be like prepared and able to do it. Otherwise, you fail. Huh. And if you fail, it's not a good look. Basically, if you fail, you don't get in. So that's the basics of it. So I had to cut weight, and it is a treacherous time because I gained weight. I think in like the pandemic, during the pandemic, I gained a bit of weight, and then it sucked to cut the weight like after the pandemic because I was just like not doing the same things. And then like the hurricane happened, and so after that, and then I moved to San Francisco, and San Francisco was freezing, like all the fucking time. It was cold there every day, and I was at the gym regularly there, but I was only doing like weights. But then I was working like 50 hours a week, 50 to 60 hours a week, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So I couldn't keep up with it. So I was like, fuck it. It was terrible. And then I was still working out, but just not regularly. It's like 2 days a week, which obviously does absolutely nothing. You're not going to get anywhere in life with 2 days a week of workout. Um, and then I switched jobs, and then I was trying to work out. I worked out basically every day there, but not for as long as I needed to. So it was probably like 1 or 2 hours because like the after work rush at the gym is fucking insane, and I hate being around that many people, especially at the gym because then you're just like, oh my god, can I work in and do like no? Then you like imagine like I don't understand how people do it. Like I can't do it. Like when I'm at the gym, I even have a problem with it. Look, like you'll be sitting on a machine. Like let's say you're doing lat pulls or something, and you go into the gym and you're just like, you know what? Okay, today I'm gonna do lat pulls until complete failure. Okay, I'm gonna be here for a bit. I'm gonna do it for like complete failure, right? So let's say you happen to get there like me. Let's say I get there around like 11, 12-ish. By 3 o'clock, you start to get the after work crowd in, and that's when it starts to get real annoying, right? By 3 o'clock, you're in there, you're doing your lat pulls, and then somebody just comes up behind you, and they're just like, "Hey, dude, how many more do you have?" And it's just like, uh, well, I was gonna stay here until I just could not lift anything at all. But apparently now I have to be generous and let you use this. So I'm not gonna get a full workout. So I'll just do like 2 more sets, and you can do this, and I'll find some other way to to work my muscle to the bone, and then it just like sucks, and then you have to like it's terrible. But like no one does that with like the tricep, like your tricep pulls, like your cable pull downs. No one does that. And push downs, no one does that because nobody's in a rush to do those apparently. So you end up having or getting a lot more allotted time to go all the way to failure. And then sometimes I don't even want to go to failure on that because it's just like completely ridiculous. Like I started at 70, and then 70 wasn't good, and then I had to go all the way to 90, and then 90 was okay. So like in December, going back and starting my starting weight at 90 on pushdowns was okay, but it wasn't like enough. And then I went to Equinox, and I was just like, fuck it. So I just started with 100. So now I just start there at like 100, and it's kind of weird. It's very fucking creepy too, because it's just like the strangest thing to deal with. It's very very strange. But I haven't done RDOs since like October. Just no RDOs since fucking October. In when I was in New York in June, in August, yeah, no, when I was in New York in August, every time I did like RDLs, like the friction, bro, I swear to God, like it's ridiculous. Like I'd be like just like pulling for my hamstrings, but then like 2 seconds later, I'm just like, I should probably get a girlfriend. It's like it's just like it's really really weird. It's really really weird. But I haven't gone to the gym all week, so there's that. Only because like I was supposed to go this week to the other gym that I was going to, and I decided, you know what, fuck it, nah. I'm just gonna go back to. I'll go back to my regular gym, which by this point everybody knows is Speakeasy. At this point, everybody fucking knows that. I can't even hide that location at this point. So I figured I just go back to my regular gym, and I just work out. And I got there, and they were like, "Oh, hey, your membership lapsed." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I was just here in December." And I was like, okay, I know what happened. At the end of December, when I got my appendix out, I didn't pay for my membership. So I go in, I paid for February, but I didn't pay for January. I was like, okay, cool. So I can just, I can pay you next week for January. And the guy was like, okay, cool. And he let me in. And I was like, all right, great. So I worked out. And he was like, then you're good. You can just work out for the entire week, and then you'll be good. I was like, thank you. I appreciate you. Great. I'll pay you guys next week. I go in the next day, and there's some other fucking guy there. I have no idea who this guy is. I've never seen him before. But to be honest, I rarely ever pay attention to who's at the front desk here. I just like I just scan my card and just walk in. This guy stops me, and he goes, I'm like, I don't even know who this gentleman is. He stops me and is basically like, yeah, well, we can't let you in. There's like no note here. There's like nothing there. I was like, he said he was gonna put a note in there. And then he was like, well, we don't see anything. And I was like, well, this is not okay. So basically, he said I could work out for that day, but then like I can't work out until like I pay the thing. So now I'm out of the gym for like I'm gonna be out of the gym for a total of 4 days, and that just pissed me off. And I've been incredibly pissed off all day because like now I just have to sit here and do work, which is not a bad thing because I don't mind getting my work done. It's just that I would rather be lifting some fucking weights right now because I'm trying to lose weight for this thing and trying to cut weight. I'm trying to lean out because my gut looks like I've been preparing for hibernation. And then after I had my appendix out, they inflated my gut with that carbon gas or whatever. So I got rid of the bulk of that. But now every time, well, not anymore, but when before I got back to working out in February. Every single time I did like core workouts, like sit ups or crunches, I would just keep like, you get those just flatulence as a result of having my gut blown up for surgery. So there's that, which kind of sucks. Which actually really sucks, but oh no, I finished my lettuce. Well, I finished all my lettuce, so there's that. So yeah, no, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a thing. And last week, I don't know, like earlier this all week, I've just not been feeling like doing a podcast. I don't know what is going on, but I've had this weird sensation of just like not recording a podcast for some reason. And I'm not particularly sure why that is. But I've also had like some other sensations for doing other things. Not that well, that too, but not what you think. I've also had the sensation of getting in the car and driving somewhere because I was gonna go down to Marina Del Rey the other day, and I ended up not going. I was gonna drive down there, but something happened. I don't remember what occurred. I know what happened. I won't tell you. TMI. But something happened, and I can't say it. And I ended up, it was basically whatever happened. It resulted in me not getting out of bed in time. Not, oh gosh, now we're going too far. No, whatever occurred resulted because it happened the night before. So that's what we're gonna go with resulted in not getting out of bed on time. So uh, I wasn't up in time to go pick up the car, and as a result, there was another car. So there was another car. There was an option for me to go grab another car, but I didn't want that car. For some reason, the car that I had, that I was initially going to get, was the most important vehicle. Because once I lost that vehicle, like my entire motivation to go to Marina Del Rey was just like completely gone. Like I was just like, yeah, it doesn't even make any sense at this point. Why even bother going? Because if I'm not going to get the car that I want from the location that I want, then I don't want to go. For some reason. Also, I guess part of me kind of, sort of thought that if I had done that, then I may not have been able to experience whatever life experience I was supposed to get that day or gain that day or have that day. And as a result, I have been very upset since. And it's like all the cars are like gone today, which is the next thing. All of the cars are like completely gone today. Because in case no one knows, today's Sunday. It's like incredibly warm outside today. Um, well, not incredibly warm, but it's the warmest day of the week today. So, a lot of if my if I obviously I'm not gonna lie, it's uh, everyone is outside today basically. So as a result, there are like no cars available for rent, which kind of like sucks because there's like two available, but I already basically said fuck it. So there's that. Also, I don't know what I want to do today, which is the next issue. I didn't know what I wanted to do today as well. I had like no real plans for today. The bulk of my plans for today to finish were to finish like one or two other posts for social media for TikTok, and whatever gets posted on TikTok inherently also gets posted on Instagram. So my only objective and plan for today was to do that, along with maybe getting some writing done. But I also have to get a lot of writing done because when I'm There's like a part of my book that I've been staring at for the past 3 months. And you would think because I've been staring at it for the past 3 months that I would just do something. No, I didn't do anything. I've been staring at it for the past 3 months, just thinking that something will fall into my lap. Like, I don't know, maybe I need more edibles, maybe I need more Adderall, I don't know what. Maybe I need more Red Bull, maybe I need to drink like 15 Red Bulls to get my brain to just like go into full-blown limitless mode. I don't know. But the basics of what I can say is I've been staring at this thing for 3 months. Almost, yeah, almost a total of 3 months. And I have not been able to figure out what I want to do with it. So a part of me is thinking about just completely deleting this part. But I also feel like this part is like a very, very important part of the story. It's a very important section of the story. I feel like the conversation, the dialogue has to happen. I just, I don't know if it should happen in this particular spot. Furthermore, now it also begs the question of if it's not supposed to happen in this particular spot, where should it happen? Like, I feel like it should happen further down the line. So now, if this conversation occurs, sorry, further down the line, further into the story, how do I now redo this particular part of the story? Because I want this scene to stay. I just don't want the dialogue in there anymore. So I want the scene, the actions taking place in the scene to happen, but I don't want that dialogue there anymore. I want to move that dialogue further down, and I want it to happen between different characters. I don't want it to happen between the same characters, and I don't want it to happen to that soon in that location. So that's where I am right now. Like that's literally where I am right now, and I've been there for 3 months. And people would probably, everyone at this point would probably say, "How the heck have you been there for 3 months?" Well, for 1 month I was recovering from my appendix, and apparently I don't know what happened. That was a weird time for me. And then the second month after that, what do you call it? I was working out, trying to cut weight for my exam, and now I'm just sitting here and have finally gotten the juices flowing to decide that this conversation can happen. It just can't happen here, basically. So, um, yeah, this is kind of where I am with this, and it is a very difficult thing for me because it's a very good one. It's a good conversation. When I wrote the initial draft, I thought it was a fantastic little conversation, but now that I've looked at it and gone over it 110%, I think this conversation should happen somewhere else. It's but it's worth it for sure, to be honest with you. The conversation is definitely worth it. It's a good conversation. It has a lot of potential in the story. It just can't happen there. Okay, I moved it. Look at that. Well done. Well, I didn't move the conversation. What do you call it? I've moved it into another document so I can make changes to it. I just have to redo the scene. Once I redo the scene, the entire setting, conversations and character stuff, I think it'll be a very, very, very fun time. I can always like delete things and move things around so that everything is just it just looks much, much different. There's so many things to think about. But now that I discussed it here, I feel like I have a good idea of what I'm looking to do. I still would like to go get a Red Bull though. I will be honest with you. I need about like 15 Red Bulls. It's kind of annoying when you think about that. Like I have all these different things to do. So like I don't just I was just thinking about doing a lot of changes and making honestly making a lot of changes to a lot of things because it like needs to happen. There just needs to be a lot of things that change pretty drastically and kind of like immediately. Like I kind of have to take a risk on something, and I don't have a choice but to take this risk. So I'm gonna have to take this risk on it and roll like that for a bit, assuming that I'm able to do that. But I think that I think it'll be easier for me to do it this way. And if things work out, they work out, and if they do not work out, they do not work out. But I can see for a fact that they are likely to work out in my favor if I do this one particular thing. So it's just likely to be better for me. Maybe not for everybody else involved, but it'll definitely be a win for me. And I think that's mostly what I'm looking for at the moment. Therefore, yeah, I'm probably just gonna edit this scene right now because now that I don't even know. Um, okay, hold on 1 second. So I could just entire change that entire conversation right there. Uh, we'll just move it and see if it works, and then it should all fall into place somehow. Um, mm, there we go. That's kind of cool. That one is kind of awesome. Hold on. Almost, almost. There we go. Give it just a second. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, and then there's like a second part where it's just like, oh my god, another nut. Yeah, so there's like a etching a line. Oh my god. A mark. Oh yeah. Um, spins around, heads up. You could definitely change it. The dialogue is like 110% easier to change. I gotta go take photos. Wait, I have not gone to take photos in Los Angeles. I was supposed to take. I'm sorry. I was supposed to take photos the other day, but I was not able to do so because I didn't take my camera with me, and I was trying to do something, and I ultimately ended up not doing it. I was kind of upset about it because I figured if I had just done it, if I had just taken my camera with me, I would have had a better day. But I did not, and that ultimately resulted in me just having a really a really, really bad day. Um, but I do know I'm starting to think that I might go down to some place and go take photos there later on this week or earlier this week, which should be a lot easier on me. But I don't know. if that's where I want to take the photos, because I need to grab another lens because like all I have right now is like my 50 lens, so I want to pick up a 10. Uh, so I'm thinking about grabbing a 10 because if I grab a 10, I can get more wide shots. There's because of the model I'm using, it's kind of a dated model. It's really a dated model, but I actually really like it. I've had it for a while, and it's one of my favorite models thus far. I know there's like a newer versions and newer ones I can pick up, but for like right now, it's kind of just like the model that I want to run with. So, because of that, I think it would be best for me to just grab like the updated lens instead and just go on, just go with that. Because then I could just get a wider shot of what I'm looking for, which will make me a lot happier. Like I would do the 50, but like the 50 shots are so strange because if I don't have enough space, like 50s make good shots, but they're so close up. Like if I don't have enough space between myself and the subject, like whatever I'm taking a photo of, then I'm not gonna get a shot that I actually want. It's gonna be like a shot where it's like, oh, take a photo of this angle from that angle. And that's kind of the reason I got the 50 millimeter lens in the first place. I got the 50 millimeter lens because I figured it would be a great way to teach myself to be much more creative with my shots, and that ended up not happening. Well, does it not? Well, that's arguable. It's arguable. In one way, it happened, and in another way, it did not happen. Like it happened because of the photos I was taking in New York, but it didn't happen because in San Francisco, I didn't like it because San Francisco doesn't have a lot of tall structures, so you're not really taking photos of like a lot of high rises. In San Francisco, you have a lot more hills, and you're you're taking more photos. So like, it depends. It's just it's a 15 millimeter lens is not the lens that I would want to run around San Francisco with the entire time. Basically, like it's good for like some shots, for some street photography shots, for certain some, but if you really want to get a good experience out of photography outside of New York City, you're gonna need a much. You're gonna need a bigger lens. You're gonna need like a 10 or something. You might need like a fisheye lens. I have a fisheye lens in my storage unit, but I don't have it with me. And I don't think I want to use a fisheye lens to take all of my photos because then all of them would have this really weird distortion. So I wouldn't be interested in that. My the only way I've been combating this is by trying to use my camera for like 50 shots and using my phone in landscape for wider shots. But even the iPhone has a mild distortion. Well, it's not a distortion, it's just the photos don't look the same as if you take them with a camera. Like it's like you can definitely tell. I don't know if it's the pixelation. It might be the pixels. It's 110% the pixels. I don't even know if pixelation is a word. Let's be real. It's got to be the pixels because when I take a wide shot with my phone versus my camera, I'm getting like two different types of pixels. Like it just looks much weirder. I don't know what the deal is, but that's the basics of what I'm experiencing when doing it. But it's not bad. I guess it's like good for like if all I'm doing is posting photos on social media But if I wanted to say make a print of those photos, I don't know if I just don't know if I like feel like I'd have to go into like Photoshop and make some changes to it, to the image. I don't know. It's just there's something different about it that I don't really like. Uh, but it's not bad. I mean, if it's considering it's what I'm using at the moment, because it's what I have at the moment, it's fine. But it definitely is not something I'd want to use for for the long term. Like it's for taking all of my shots. If I can avoid using it, then I should. So I was supposed to pick up a two. I was supposed to pick up a 10 in San Francisco, but I ended up not doing that because when I was in San Francisco, I had this weird feeling like it would be a bad investment for me to buy a camera lens while I was out there. And I ultimately did not purchase a camera lens when I was out there because I just felt like it would be a bad investment because I was spending so much time at like work, uh, which in the end I didn't really want to. Because you know what they say, never be good at a job you don't want. Yeah, don't do that. Don't ever do that. If you do not plan to be in that job for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, don't waste your time. It's not that serious. Like a bulk of this I feel like you should just do for like pay your bills, live comfortably, mind your business, do things like that. But if you plan on being in that particular career for the next 20 years, then hey, all the power to you. Go full force. But if you don't, it's not that serious. You will survive. And that was kind of just like the experience, but it is what it is. So I ended up not grabbing that lens, which kind of sucked because there's a lot of stuff to take photos of in San Francisco. And I went out there and I took a bunch of photos over there, but I took the bulk of those photos with a 50 millimeter lens. And that ended up being like a treacherous experience because it was strange. Like even driving around like San Francisco, like to go over, they have a version. San Francisco has a version of the High Line. So in Manhattan, there's the High Line. You go down to Chelsea. You walk all the way down past the Meatpacking District. You walk up a bunch of stairs. You go to the High Line. You take some photos, and people just walk through the High Line. It's basically this above ground sort of park for like with like one or two shops and you just want to go for a short walk and see something sweet in the middle. Not see something sweet, but have a nice little scenery while walking through Manhattan, and you just go from one end to the other end. San Francisco has its own version of that, which I believe is called the what is that company called? I always forget the name of it unless I need it. It's owned by that guy whose brother, not brother, whose cousin is behind that show that everybody likes. Uh, uh, what that Viking show that everyone likes? The guy's cousin, he does that, and then he's like a billionaire too, I think. Let me pull up a map of San Francisco here. Hold on one second. I am so bad with names. Like the only real description I can give you about this man, about the company, is that the CEO is like the cousin of this guy, and oh man, let me grab a map here. Not Yerba Buena is another part of San Francisco. Salesforce. There we go. Salesforce. So like Salesforce Tower has something called, I don't even know what this is called. I think it's called like the Salesforce Park or yeah. I believe it's called Salesforce Park. So Salesforce Park is a very short, minuscule, tiny version of Manhattan's High Line. in my opinion, and this thing is this thing is it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. If you go up there, you can take there's like it's almost like a I don't know what it's called, but you can get on this thing that you can go from the street level up towards the park, and it's kind of like slanted. And then there's another one where you can, but I don't think they take people up so much as they take people down. Because when I was there, the day that I was there, the gentleman that was sitting in there, who acts as the operator, he said it. Oh, I said I can't specifically recall his words, but I believe he said it only goes down, or like he only takes people down. He doesn't take them up. So there's that. I remember going because I remember losing my friend. I went with someone else. I went with three people. And they were great people. They were great. One guy, he was from Kansas and he really liked walking places. He was traveling in from Kansas and he would consistently walk places and he was always on the run. Not like on the run like from the police, but he was always on the run lesson. He worked out a lot and I was like and he'd walk around with this military backpack. He was a very interesting character, he really was. So I went with him to the Salesforce Park, and we met up with another one of my friends who had actually left with us, but was a much faster walker than we were. Well, not so much that he walked much faster, but more or less that he just happened to. I think we went there to meet him because I think he said he was there, and then I said I wanted to go there, and then he was there, and then he was like, "Oh, you should come meet me." And then the other guy, I was with the other guy, and we were talking about something, and then I got his text message, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to walk over there with me?" And then he was like, "Yeah," and then, and then that's how we ended up at the Salesforce part. So, but it was it was interesting. I really enjoyed it. And Meta is down there in San Francisco as well. The little Meta place. One of my animation designs is reminiscent. I don't know if I posted it yet, but I have. It might be on TikTok. One of my animated designs is reminiscent of the Meta building in San Francisco. So there's that, and it's a very cool. So I saw I post this on X, the Salesforce building, the Salesforce Park is a shorter. Salesforce Park is almost is like the San Francisco's. It's like San Francisco. It's like well, it's essentially the San Francisco version of Manhattan's of of Manhattan's uh, of Manhattan's highline, almost. But it's questionable. But it is also because of where it's located. Because you have to remember, like the Salesforce building is like the Salesforce Park and Salesforce building is like right above where there's like the mass transit, like the buses and close, and it's also next to where you get the Greyhound and things like that. Whereas like in New York, the High Line is like an old train track that they've covered over, and you can still see like the little train tracks there. Oh, very fascinating. I loved it. It was very cool. I was a big fan. Now, that being said, I still need to grab myself a 10. So this lens is like 200 something dollars. So it's an investment. Hardly. It's hardly an investment, but I'm going to call it an investment because I already have one. Actually, no, I don't. That's right. When I went back to New York to pick it up, it had water damage from the hurricane, from the flood. So I ended up, well, obviously, it has water damage. So I believe I threw it out, or I may have actually still kept it. I was probably going to clean it or something. I kind of figured that would be something that I did, but it's very obvious that I may not have done that at all. I question myself and reminiscing about whether I kept it or not. Man, man, oh man. Today, in Canada received a new prime minister. Um, his name is Mark Carney. He was now the elected leader of the Canadian Liberal Party, inherently making him the new prime minister of Canada. And he gave a speech upon receiving this information. And accepting this, gave a speech, an acceptance speech, a thankful speech, a I've won speech. And he gave a speech, and he pretty much told Donald Trump in America, that Canada will not ever be a part of America. He said Canada will never be a part of America. Then he talked about hockey. He mentioned that just like ice hockey, we will win. And I think that we are in a very complex situation right now in terms of politics, global politics, and where we stand currently in the mix of things. Because let me be real with you. I'm going to be 100% real with you guys here. Nobody likes us. Okay, people didn't like us before, but now countries are basically just like, America, we gotta pull away from you. See, before, countries would hear about America and they'd be like, we don't like America because like America is blah blah blah. But then their governments would be like, yeah, but America's great. They're helpful people. They help us out. They've always got our back. So while our people might be, blah blah blah, not fond of them, not fond of them, uh, they're great. They're great. They're great little acquaintances. They're great to associate with. You don't have any issues. Now, now, the EU is basically saying like we have to become our own form of America. So now all the European countries are at the table, basically building up their arsenals and heavily investing billions, I'm sorry, close to trillions actually, of dollars into their military. But those are days. One second. But this is the second time I believe they've done that because even under Donald Trump's initial presidency, European countries were doing something just as similar. And then now, here in his second presidency, following Joe Biden's fill in the gap year, they're back to doing it. Because once Biden was elected, the EU was basically kind of like, yeah, we can do it for America. And now that Trump's back in office, the EU is just like, yeah, I don't think we can. So, the problem here, though, for me, is that countries around the world know that, politics, specifically in the US, particularly, in places like the US. These leaders are have like limits to their stay in office. Donald Trump leaves office in 2028, 2029 to be specific, but what happens then, right? We run into a potential situation where the likes of we run into where we'll have a Democrat run against a Republican. Fresh eyes on the country. And during this election, either a conservative can win, who we don't know who the Republican Party will bring up to the table, or elect to be the head of the ticket for them. It could be anybody. It could be a Republican that is fully backed by Trump, who's fully MAGA, who fully intends to continue Trump's legacy. Or it could potentially be a Republican who's not a MAGA, who may, for whatever reason, not completely follow, not completely align to what MAGA wants and all these other things. Additionally, then you have the Democratic Party. You can get anything. You can get anyone. Right now, the front runners because all we're looking at right now is the Democrats. We're still waiting to see what the Republicans' next move is, and we're like 110% certain that the Republicans and the conservatives are going to pretty much say that J.D. Vance should run for president. So he has not announced, obviously, that he'll be running for president in 2028 because he still has a long time before doing that and before finally deciding to do that. However, should he decide to run for president, he would have the full backing of Donald Trump. He would have the full backing of MAGA and much of the conservative party just because of his close alignment to Donald Trump, and it would just work for him. Okay? Now, as far as the Democrats go, here's a problem. The Democratic Party right now is not looking too hot. They're not looking too hot. Not at all. There's a lot of red flags up in the Democratic Party, and there's a lot to audit, in my opinion. A lot to audit. And it's something, I'll tell you that much. It's something. Essentially what the Democrats would like is to see Kamala Harris run for president. However, Kamala Harris, Amala, thank you very much. She has a couple options on her table for the rest of her political career. And this is where it starts, okay? Clock's ticking, babe. Clock's ticking. So, here's what we have. Kamala Harris has a... Okay, let me get through the rest of this first. So, you have the potential of seeing AOC run for president. Should AOC run for president? I don't think she should be running for president. I don't think she should. Okay. I'm not saying that she shouldn't. I just don't think she should run in 28. 32, maybe. 28, never. I don't think I want her seat to run in 28. But I don't think AOC has even decided that she wants to run in 28. We have like 3 more years before anybody starts throwing their hat in the rings. Well, 2, to be exact, but you get the gist. AOC is probably not going to run. And a lot of young people, Gen Z, millennials, Gen Alpha, they're probably all just like, yes, we need AOC. Nah. As a millennial, I don't think we need AOC to run. I think AOC can run in 32 at best. Only just just because I think she's still starting out in her political career, and I believe that she still has a long way to go in her political career. Because right now she's a rep, she's a representative. She hasn't even run for senator. She hasn't potentially run for mayor, run for governor. She has so many options. You know, I think she should let her become a senator first. Let her go from House of Representative to senator, and then pivot into presidency. We'll give her a little bit more time. I think she needs a little bit more time under the political spotlight before she runs for president. Her job as a representative, she's done a phenomenal job. I just don't think she should be jumping and putting her hat in the ring so quickly without taking like a Senate seat. Representative is great, but senator, now that's something greater. Okay, so there's that. Plus, I also want to see her take some other kind of office, but she's already in a high office, a very high position, political position, because she's from New York. She had the option of running for like city council, and she chose to go like, yeah, no, I'm going straight to the White House. Well, not the White House, but I'm going straight to Washington. So there's that. So anyway, so following that, we also have the likes of Gavin Newsom. As everyone knows, Gavin Newsom is in his final term as governor. That's it. He's done. He was mayor of San Francisco, governor of California. He can always throw his hat back in. I don't know if he could run for mayor again. He could probably become mayor of Los Angeles County, maybe, but not. But Bass isn't up for re-election yet. She still has a couple. She still has a while to go. I believe she has a couple more years to go. Additionally, Newsom lives like right outside of San Francisco, so he doesn't even live in LA County. That's the next thing. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize this. Gavin Newsom actually, like, he's has his private residence is right outside of San Francisco. He lives in the Bay Area. A lot of people don't know this, but Gavin lives in the Bay Area. No, he's pretty out there in the tech area. He's got a pretty good spot over there. Um, so he's good. Karen Bass is not for re-election, so she's pretty good. Um, the firing of the fire chief thing, though, not she fired the fire chief, and that was the result of like I know that was not just her doing. There had to be a lot of conversation before she fired that woman. But the truth is that she didn't actually fire her. She still has a job. She's just demoted. She's no longer the fire chief, but she's like the assistant fire chief right now. So she wasn't technically fired, but all the headlines are saying that she was fired. No, she was demoted, people. She was demoted. So there's that. But Bass is not up for re-election, and her job in doing that is actually will help her in the re-election season, in the election season, because she's done a really phenomenal job. She's done a great job thus far. And this entire that wildfire thing was an entire mess because of she was out of town because of Biden. The fire chief didn't give her enough information, because had the fire chief given her enough information, she could have literally told Biden, like, no, I don't think I should leave yet, basically. I think I should stay a little bit longer first. But that didn't happen. So there's that. And then you have the likes of, yeah, but then you still have Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, there's the opportunity for him to take a higher office, whether that be senator, whether that be a bid for the presidency. It's a lot easier to see him running for president than it is to see him running for state senator. Like, that's just the truth. It's a lot easier to see him run for president and state senator or representative or something. And the reason I say that is like very clear. He has the makings of a more moderate Democrat. His wife, he consistently dates Republican women. He's a Democrat, but he's always dating Republican women. And Gavin, what? Gavin is almost always dating. Well, not almost always. He always is in a relationship with a Republican. If you've been to California, that's what every relationship in California looks like. And that's not a joke. Especially when you go up to places like Encino and the more wealthy areas, every relationship is like that. A Democrat married to a Republican. That's the truth. That's how the relationships work. Everywhere in California. It's a highly Democratic state because there's more Democrats, obviously, but, and more people tend to vote Democratic for the Democrats, but nearly every, almost every single relationship, marriage, family, one person is a Democrat and the other person is a Republican. And couples, married couples as well. That's a normal thing here. So that's just a thing. So Gavin, uh, so Gavin's kind of on brand here. The thing I like about Gavin though is that I think that he himself has enough conservative values and enough liberal values to kind of just say, well, no, like, yeah, this is okay, but this is not okay. He's kind of that person who would be like, well, yeah, I mean, you could have rights and do this and do all that, but you can't do that. You just can't do that. Not that you can't do. Like you can do this, you can do that, but you can't do that. I can't let you do that. So that's kind of a thing that I appreciate about this guy because it's not a bad thing. But it's not a bad quality. Like when he got on there, I guess he was doing an interview, a podcast interview. I don't know if he was interviewing someone else or someone. I believe it was his interview, his podcast, where he was interviewing someone else, and he was asked about transgender women in women's sports, and he said no because it's unfair. I wouldn't allow a transgender woman to play in women's sports. That's unfair. Like, and he's right. Like that's unfair. It is because would you let a woman on PEDs play with other women? No. Would you let a transgender man play with other women in a league? No. And transgender men are like biologically female. Would you want them playing in a league? No, you would not. Exactly. You wouldn't even want that. So what makes you think that a guy who naturally has, testosterone can play in a league with biological women? That's impossible. Sorry. It's impossible. You can't do that. No. No. Because if you wouldn't even give the girls PEDs and say, oh, hey, Jenny, take this Winstrol, what are you doing? You know? So there are a lot of questions when it comes down to it. You also have Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo is running for. He's the former governor of New York. He's running to be mayor of New York, which I think is crazy. But I mean, hey, He's running to be mayor, but additionally, he's always had a good relationship with Donald Trump. He was governor doing he was governor during Trump's last presidency, and he we saw how that worked out. The people in the nursing homes that were dying of COVID and scandals and all this other nonsense. And then there was also, you know, I mean, then there was his ex-wife. The other day, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Probably not because it's the wife. Something happened the other day. I don't remember the specifics of it. That's how much, you know. And she went somewhere, and something happened, and I guess she got pissed with the people there and said, "Do you know who I am? I am the ex-wife, or like I am the I don't know what I think she said she's the ex-wife or the wife. I don't remember. I am the ex-wife of Andrew Cuomo." And I remember thinking to myself, I was real proud of being the ex-wife. Oh, real proud. Anyway, I guess she couldn't get her way for something, and she figured out would help her get her way. But she's the ex-wife, so I don't fucking know how that would work. As if it's supposed to be like a badge of honor, like, oh my god, you're the ex-wife. Oh shit. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. No one's doing that. This is not to be disrespectful, sweetheart. I'm just being honest. Okay, like come on, come on. If you were still his wife, it'd be a thing. But I mean, like, you're his ex-wife. You gotta be real here. Is that really a badge of honor that you have to say it like that? I am the ex-wife. I don't know what you sound like. I didn't hear your voice because I only read your interviews. So I don't know what you sound like. But I'm just saying, like, it's not a. If my ex-wife, if I somehow blow up, and my ex-wife says something like, ever says that, I would be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're my ex-wife. You're like running up. No, there's nothing. That's like me saying, I am the ex-husband of. No, no. You're the ex. Ex. You're his ex. Cuomo's probably got a new girlfriend. I don't know, but he could. He could have a new girlfriend, for all we know. It's none of our business. But I mean, hey, he could have a new girlfriend. And not even his current girlfriend. I mean, come on. You know, what's going on here? You're the ex-wife. All right, you're the ex-wife. What do you want? What the fuck do you want? A cookie? You married him and then you divorced him? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to what do you want? You want to divorce me? That's what the person should have said. Like, what's going on here? Like, you don't say that. That's not cool. You don't say that. If you were still married to him, you'd be like, I am the wife of Andrew. Then that'd be a different story. But you'll be like, you're the ex-wife. That's hysterical. I'm surprised it wasn't on SNL. So yeah, that's comical, baby. Uh, Following that, I think that Cuomo winning the New York City mayoral race would be exciting because it gives him 4 years. It gives him 4 years. And that means that if he wins this mayoral race in New York and somehow Mayor Adams, who is currently embroiled in like a fucking massive scandal, lorsh, yeah, if Cuomo can beat Adams, it would give Cuomo 4 years to eventually run for president of the United States. All he needs to do is win that mayoral race. Once he wins the mayoral race, everybody's going to have their eyes on him, especially in New York. This gives him the potential, because of the timeline of it, this will give him the potential to start lobbying all of the donors once more, because now they have a larger space in between him going into office and the time that he announces that he wants to run for president. So it gives them a much larger space of like 4 years, right? So they'll be like, oh my God, they'll probably literally say to themselves, oh my gosh, he's been in office for 2 years as mayor. He's done a great job thus far. He's cleaned up the city. He's done this thus far. I think we could give him some extra cash and have him run for president. We could fund this presidential election. Next thing you can see, Cuomo running in the primaries with the Democrats, the Democratic primary. And that could be the thing. If he wins the Democratic primary, he could potentially become the next president of the United States, from governor to mayor to president, which is the same thing as Gavin Newsom over here in California. Now, the problem with Gavin is currently the governor, right? He's still in office, right? He doesn't come out of office until next year, okay? When Gavin comes out of office next year, Gavin is going to need a place. He is either going to need an office, he's going to have to run for something, or he's just not going to run for anything. See, he doesn't have to run for re-election, but he has the eyes of the donors. And given the fact that he's married to I think they're married or they're engaged or something currently, and he was married to a Republican, and it is a very well-known fact that he knows how to lobby Republicans and Democrats, Gavin Newsom would have a very, very, very sweet spot in getting donors for the 2028 presidential election. Because once he leaves office in 26, he just has to go based off of all that he's done in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and other parts of the city. And he could very well gather the donations to run for president in 2028. Because there'll only be a 2-year gap between 26 and 28. That will allow him to, obviously, there'll only be that 27. 26 to 27, 20, so you get the point. So he could run in the Democratic primary. And the problem is the strong likelihood that he would be running in the primary against Andrew Cuomo. Okay? Should he run in a Democratic primary against Andrew Cuomo, you now have two people who had been former governors who both have had the opportunity to work with Donald Trump on two separate occasions. Andrew Cuomo, someone who has been previously embroiled in scandal, running up against Gavin Newsom, someone who has very mild scandals, not a lot of them, and is actually married to a conservative and has been married to a conservative before. He was married to, in case people aren't aware, he was married to Kimberly Guilfoyle, the Irish American. Okay, the Irish American. We love Kimberly. And so it's very, very clear that if Gavin runs for president, it is a great potential that he could be running in the primaries against Andrew Cuomo, the likes of Andrew Cuomo. Will there be other people throwing their hat in the primaries? I can guarantee you Klobuchar is going to be in the primaries. Klobuchar is going to be back in those primaries because the way she and what's that guy? The way she and whatever his name is, the way those two have both been in the up there in the office, on the Hill, essentially saying, "Oh, Trump can't do this, Trump can't do that." I can definitely guarantee that Klobuchar is 110% likely to be on that Democratic ticket as well for the primaries in 2028. In addition to this, the other people, I don't know who else we're going to see, but I definitely know Cuomo and Gavin Newsom are two suspected primary people who are going to be running in the primary. Who else throws their hats in the rings? I don't know, but it's going to be difficult to beat Gavin Newsom, and it's going to be difficult to beat Cuomo, but it will definitely be difficult to beat Newsom. It is. I can almost guarantee you, depending on who else is in that Democratic primary, there's a good chance that Gavin Newsom could win the 2028 presidential election. Not to say that he could win the presidential election, but he could probably win the primary. Once he wins the primary, it's basically him against, I'm almost certain, the likes of JD Vance. The likes of JD Vance. Because right now, the only real conservative Republican candidate that the conservatives have that they can put up there is JD Vance. There might be some other people, like I know, I don't think Ramaswamy will run again. I don't believe Ramaswamy will run again because he's running for governor right now, and it does put him in a sweet spot to potentially run for president. But I don't believe that he will run for president because I don't think he will get the backing of the Republican Party at all. I don't think that Ramaswamy will have the backing of the Republican Party. So I don't even think he should run. I think it would be embarrassing. I think it would be a waste of his time, and his time will be better spent running for re-election as governor of Ohio. That's basically that. This is assuming he wins in Ohio. I believe he can win in Ohio, but I mean, if he does not win in Ohio, you got bigger problems. He might have to run for mayor of Ohio. I don't know. Or move to a different state. That's where I'm at. Okay. So again, right now, I know for a fact the conservatives, the Republicans, the young Republicans, as in Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Alpha conservatives, young conservatives, they want JD Vance to run. That's what they want. They want JD Vance to run. And if JD Vance runs, he most likely will win for on the Republican primary. He will likely win the Republican primary. So what we are more likely to see in 2028 is Gavin Newsom against JD Vance should Gavin Newsom decide to run for president. So that's what our presidential ticket is likely to look like in 2028. Gavin Newsom against JD Vance. Now, as far as Kamala goes, Kamala has not come out and say whether she will run for governor or whether she will take a third bid at the presidency. But here's what I will say. She's obviously aware, and the constituents are obviously aware, that if she runs for governor of California, she's not running for president of California, of the United States. It's too close, and the donors are not going to like it. It's way too close, and the donors are not going to like it. She is going to have to, in order for her to do that, she would need billionaire donors specifically. Only billionaire donors, not millionaire donors. She would need a lot of deep pockets, deeper pockets, the deepest of pockets, in order to take a bid at governor, win governor, because we know she has the numbers. The chances of Kamala becoming governor of New York, the chances of Kamala Harris becoming governor of California are way too high. Way too high. It's a well-known fact that she's Like she's already basically the governor of California. The numbers, she has the votes. She has the votes. She has the voters. She has the constituents. She has the numbers. She has the bank, the account. She she has the PACs. She will win governor of California. If she runs for governor of California, she's going to win by a landslide. By a landslide. By a literal landslide. Okay? That's just it. That is literally it. She's going to win. The problem is that even though she has the numbers and even though it'll likely be an easy win, she's still going to have to campaign against the likes of other people. And she's going to spend a lot of money campaigning because she's not going to be campaigning in one specific area of California. She's going to be campaigning across the state of California. And she just got done campaigning across the entire United States. Even though she did not go to like the most popular states that she needed to go to, which if she had gone to those states, she probably would have stood a better chance of winning the presidency, by the way, Texas and Florida, the next time. Seriously, spend more time in Texas and Florida, but I mean, it is what it is. Those are Texas and Florida are literally the biggest economic conservative Republican states. Those two states, you have to campaign in Texas and Florida. You just have to. You can't not campaign in Texas and Florida. The conservatives may not like you, but you still have to go down there. You have to go to California, Texas, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania. You have to spend a lot of time there. In fact, you need to spend more time in Texas and Florida than in Michigan because Texas and Florida have more seats than Michigan. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Gretchen's kind of hot. So, oh my god, oh my god. I take. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna delete that. But the basics of this is like she's not kind of hot. She is hot. Gretchen Whitmer might we might see her in the primary. I feel like we're gonna see her in the primary. She's the current governor of Michigan, so we might see her in the primary. Although I don't think she should run for the primary. I feel like she should run for senator. She can run for because like if she runs for president, the only thing that I think Gretchen Whitmer will gain from running for president of the United States is that I believe she would gain popularity, more celebrity. It would expand her name, the knowledge of her to more people across the nation, which could benefit her in some major way. Uh, so there's that. There's a win from that. As for her chances of becoming president, she would have to run a better campaign than Gavin Newsom. She would somehow have to given her history, I mean, you have to remember, like, Gretchen was president. I'm sorry, not president. Oh my God, shit. Gretchen Whitmer was governor during Donald Trump's first presidency as well. So she was governor during the pandemic and during January 6th and during all of the hoopla of Donald Trump's first term in office. She's been in office for a while. So as a result, she's worked with him before. She's going to work with him again. I don't know if she's up for re-election. I don't know if she's done. But the basics of it is she has, and then she had that plot against her where they wanted to try to kill her or something like that. They were trying to murder her and trying to assassinate her, and she had all these different things against her life. She can run for president just based on that, just because of that. That would be the like number one footing that she has to campaign for president is all that nonsense that happened. That would be like the number one footing. Could she win? Again, she would have to run a better campaign and have a better, she would have to do better than Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo and whoever else. Because the biggest names on the Democratic ticket right now, that, well, they're not on the ticket yet, but the biggest potential names for the Democratic ticket is Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo. And those two guys are more likely to win a presidency against JD Vance. They're more likely to be able to tackle JD Vance. Would they be able to win against JD Vance? I don't know. Probably, maybe they could. But I mean, again, like I said, like I posted before on X, you have to meet these people where they are right now. Because right now, where the American people are, is a good chunk of the Americans are moderates. A good chunk of Democrats today are moderates. A good chunk of them. No, I don't think we are in an age anymore where Democrats are fully Democrats anymore. Nowadays, I say nowadays as if if I'm over 60. I'm not. I haven't even hit 30 yet. So the basics of it is now, today, the basics of it is like, there isn't, there literally is, every Democrat today is somewhat Republican. So every Democrat, the bulk of the young Democrats, the bulk of everyone is mostly right leaning. You have to remember that Donald Trump came into office and started exposing where where all our money was going. That's what you're putting up with. Okay? And as a Democrat, you have to also remember that that liberal or conservative, every American cares about where their money is going. So, inherently, how are you going to counteract that? How are you going to counteract Doge? Because you can't even come out and say that everything Doge did was wrong. The American people found out that you were giving like $60 billion to a foreign country for Sesame Street. Come on. How are you going to counteract that? Because it's not just going to be about, oh my God, Trump did this, oh my God, that. You have to counteract everything that occurred during Trump's presidency, in addition to also meeting the American people where they are and reaching them and saying, here's what we will do, here's what we can do, here's what I will do for you. Tell me what you want me to do. You got to meet these people where they are. Because if you're going to have a debate, you can't just tell the people, oh my God, well, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it has to be. You can't do that. Because the American people don't want to hear that. Because the only people out in the street protesting right now are the federal workers that lost their jobs and things like this. Okay? Everybody else is at home finding out that we just spent $60 billion on Sesame Street in Iran. We just spent like $30 billion on this. Meanwhile, I can tell you right now in San Francisco on Post Street, there is a pothole there that has been there for like years. And it has not been patched. And some other guy, I saw a guy patch it himself. A guy patched it himself. I can tell you right now that there are still homeless people across the state of California living on the street in tents, a democratic state. I can tell you right now there are people in shelters in New York City who are being like abused sexually, male and female, by like other people, okay, that work in these places or in those places. I can tell you right now that there are people in San Francisco who are probably pissed off because their things are being stolen or places have been robbed. Their homes have just went up in flames in California, where people are breaking into into these places to pick up the rubble and steal things. Like what? There are homes in Palo Alto that are sinking because there are consistent landslides to the point where the very bedrock is not even stable, and homes that have been there for decades, years, are sinking into the sea. Okay? Like, let's be real. Let's be real here. There are real things going on, real things happening in democratic states as well. I can tell you right now in New York, like, come on. New York City has only had two mayors. I'm sorry, New York City has only ever had two black mayors, and both of them have been embroiled in some massive scandal. How the hell are you gonna counteract that? The third black mayor in New York City, who hasn't even been elected yet, is already shaking in his boots because he likely assumes that the minute he assumes office, scandal. Dude's probably hired a PR firm already. He's probably got a PR firm working for him for his campaign. It's probably where all the money is going. All of it. He's never going to fire them. They're going to be the highest paid. They'll be paid more than him. Okay? I'm being real. I'm being honest here. The American people want you guys to meet them where they are. You gotta. Democrats are gonna have a difficult time in 2028. They're going to have a difficult time. And for the last time, all your voters are not 18. All your voters are not 18. Some of your voters are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and there might be a couple of 100s. Okay? You need to appeal to all of the American people. And you need policies that will get conservatives to vote for you. Because winning the presidential election is not just about winning the Democrats, it's about also winning the people on the opposition and across the aisle. You need to also win conservatives. What are you going to do to win conservatives? I'm a Democrat. Only Democrats matter. That's not. If you want to win that election, those conservatives have got to matter to you as well. So these are the things that need to occur in order for you to win these elections. So if you're not going to come together and work something out across the aisle, because none of the Democrats stood up for DJ, that young 13-year-old boy with cancer that beat cancer and had 13 surgeries at 13. It's crazy. Even if you thought it was a publicity stunt, you just don't do that, because you need conservative votes to win an election. You need conservatives to believe in you. So you guys have to figure that shit out. I don't know what's wrong with you people. And it's like it sounds like the thing being president is about just winning Democrats. No, it's not. You think Obama became president because he only won over the Democrats? No. Obama became president because he won over Republicans. Because Mitt Romney and McCain told the Republicans that they need to respect him for who he is. The fuck? The mistake of Harris's campaign was Harris calling Trump a Nazi. That was a number one mistake. You should have never done that. You could have called him a ZZ, but not Trump's not a Nazi. Maybe Elon, maybe, but not Trump. His grandkids are Jewish. Do you think his grandkids felt hearing you call their grandfather Oh, no, see, I'm like, the you know, gotta be better. And he's like, he's actually, he likes his grandkids. And more importantly, he likes his son-in-laws. And he's major fans of his daughter-in-laws as well. He's a very big family man, which is very compelling. Now, you can disagree with the things he says, but I mean, you kind of have to respect Trump for being like a family guy. I mean, I know, like, all these divorces or whatever, but he obviously loves his kids and his grandkids. So there's that. And even if that's not true, it's the image that he gives. So there's that. Anyway, that being said, uh, Whitmer would need to have a great campaign. She is incredibly attractive, but she's going to need a great campaign. She wants to run against Newsom and Cuomo. Newsom has a better chance of becoming the head of becoming the Democratic leader and winning that primaries. Kamala Harris can run for governor, but if she runs for governor, the chances of her becoming president of the United States is much slimmer than ever before. Much, much slimmer. Because gubernatorial, oh my God, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly again. Becoming governor, essentially, would take presidency off the table entirely. But she wouldn't become the first woman president, the first woman to be president. She wouldn't be the first black woman to become president. She would quite literally be the first black woman to be president, to be governor of a U.S. state. She'd be the first black woman to be governor of a U.S. state. She would, I don't know if she'd probably also be the first South Asian woman. I'm not sure, I don't know. I might be wrong on that as well. She would have the full support of California, though. But if she does become governor, she will not be able to run for president. Or at least for me, I don't think she'll even bother running for president at all. If she wins that. For that. I mean, what is she, 60? She's about 60. I'm not trying to be ageist. She's about 60. She could still run for president in her 70s. President of the United States in her 70s. That's kind of hot. That's actually very hot. I'm into that. Gretchen Whitmer has this really, really great streak. She has a great streak, and I've been losing my mind over it. I saw the gray streak and I was like, yes, come to me, please. I don't know. I got a bro. I really like. I don't know. I'm attracted to women that are older than me. Basically, like at least like 1 year, 2 years is cool. But if you're like 5, like 10 years older than me, like 5 or 10 years older, yes. If you are 5 or like 10 years older than me, I start losing my mind. I'm just like, look, you can put me on your lap, okay? I will go. You want? What do you want me to do? You want me to? I can do. Let me do these dishes for you, babe. Let me do the dishes for you. You want me to massage your feet? I got it. You want me to, give me your grocery list. I'll go get your groceries. You want me to cook? I can't really cook. I'm not a fantastic chef, but I can hire a private cook for you. Probably. Mm. The frozen food section, it was like, just joking. um, I can make eggs and chicken. Actually, no, I don't. I can't make chicken. You cannot make chicken because chicken takes forever. And every time I make it, it's always slightly pink, so I'm not very good at it. But I'm a steak guy. Steak is supposed to be pink. So I can do that. We'll survive this. But yeah, no, I think I definitely think if she's not I know that there was a article that came out in Politica that said that she was thinking about and she's gonna wait till the end of the summer to I guess she's taking some time to decompress. I don't blame her. Take some time to decompress. Let me know when you're ready. She's taking some time to decompress after having been in office for so long. You know, I mean, it was only 4 years, but then the campaign thing, and then um, all the things that we, the public, are not aware of that goes on in the White House. There are things that happen in the White House that we just that no, well, not you guys, but obviously I know. But there are things that occur. No, I don't know everything. There are some things that occur in the White House and in the presidency and that high up in office and further that are you know stressful. And the job of a president is very stressful. It's very stressful. It's a hard job, difficult job. Just gonna need somebody to give you a back massage. Joking, joking. But yeah, it is a difficult job. And even the job as vice president, that as well is also a difficult job. Like you're consistently running here and there, flying here and there. And you always have to schedule. Oh, on your schedule, you have to go to Ghana. You gotta go to Nicaragua. Yeah, you're always on the go. And they put on these events. Oh, look, performance. Yes, I like it. Be nice. Different things that occur and things that happen that no one knows about. The things that only very few people know about. And very few people get to know about. The things that actually give you fucking PTSD, even though you're not directly getting PTSD from the situation. this particular thing gives you PTSD, then knowing about local situations that even the locals don't know about, those things are even more treacherous. And then seeing things that other people cannot see because they can't be told about it. You can't let the news media get a hold of it. It's got to be so private that even ABC, NBC, and CNN can't know about it. It's a difficult thing. That's a difficult task. Running for president of the United States on the outside, from the outside looking in, probably seems like, well, it's just they're just running for a job, and the American people have to vote them in. But it's almost a lot more complicated than just the American people voting them in. It's like, yeah, the American people are voting them in based off of what, you promise to do. You promise to get done, And then, uh, and they're into that. But the problem is that when you inherit this office, you're inheriting a lot more than what you campaigned on and what you campaigned for. You heard a lot. There's things that you can't even say to the public. There's things the public can never know about. There are people the public can never know about. There are people that the public can never know exist. There are people that the public will be aware of, but you don't really know anything about them. And then there are people that the public will never ever know who they are, but they have severely impacted things in their lives, and they'll never know who they are. But the only thing that they will know is that that specific person is the reason why a bunch of things exist. And then you don't know who they are. And they will never know who they are. Because that's just how it works around across the globe. And yeah, that's about it. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I noticed some things I probably left out, but I hope you guys are okay with that. I have to go edit this thing before it gets too cold because it's about to get cold, and I'm ready to start doing some things with it, and I need to prepare myself to grab a new camera lens so I can go take photos. And additionally, I also need to get some other things done. So there's that. All right. So, as a result of that, I will see you guys soon. And I don't know what I'll have to talk about next week. Maybe it'll be something else. I know Justin Trudeau's daughter did a speech today, but I didn't get to listen to the speech. But everyone was very, very impressed by it because his daughter called him, I think, daddy or her dad or something, and then everyone was excited about that. Which this is actually the first time I've ever gotten that much Canadian news on my timeline, and I'm very appreciative of it. I'm very appreciative of it. So that's great. It's really great to hear that. It's really great to see that. It's good to finally be back into the good graces of the global, media. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you. For the local media nationwide, again, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Have a great time. And again, this is the end of the podcast, and thank you all, and have a great time. It's been a great talking to you. Don't judge me about the photo and writing thing. I still have a bunch of other things that I need to do. About the meta animation, if you've been to San Francisco, you probably can pick out which animation it is on my TikTok page. But if you have not been to San Francisco and you have not seen the Meta building in San Francisco, you're definitely not gonna know which animation it is. So I might I may put a picture of it here for the YouTube version so you can see it. You'll just have to come back to this timestamp. But yeah, overall, that's about it. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great life. Follow me on social media at Matt Black, MVTTBLVC, MVTTBLVC.com, MVTTBLVC on Threads, Instagram, TikTok. Um, I believe Snapchat as well, but I don't use Snapchat. Like, so I'm never on there. So, like, it's a great app, and I'm like literally never on Snapchat. I'm never on Snapchat. I'm sorry. Like, I'm literally never on there. I probably should be on there more. I have two Snapchat accounts, and I only use one of them now. Uh, oh my god. I'll probably re-download it and use it again. Uh, yeah. I'll go check out the website, go read. I'm editing Greenwich Drive right now, so Greenwich Drive should be up by Friday. We're looking at dropping some stuff on OnlyFans. I'm looking at dropping some stuff on there soon. Onto OnlyFans should be really cool. This again, the OnlyFans thing is going to be for like a niche audience. I don't think like everyone's going to be interested in it. People will be interested in it because of the brand, but as far as the content on it, it's going to be very niche content. It's not going to be like the type of content that everyone's going to want to be involved with. It's not going to be some kind of vanilla like oh my god thing like that. It's kind of it's kind of mm, sadist in some way. So that's the only word I could think of right now. I had another one that's the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't get it out. So there's that. But yeah, no, you guys are great. I think you guys are amazing, and I'll see you guys soon. And let's see what happens in 2028. But honestly, we have so many years to go before that, and I still need to get an apartment. So I'm hoping to have that or like a room or something before the end of the year. So let's go with that.